Hi everyone. So season 15 is coming to an end and I did listen to Kenya and absolutely Kenya's interview with part 1. Part 2 I think comes out tomorrow, which is on a Tuesday. I feel away. Um the internet is ablaze with the concept of the fact that there's a lot of things that Kenya is not, we're not seeing a lot of Kenya's story. And the fact that she's kind of really showing her story online. So you're actually are seeing all of the things that production is not seeing. And there's an a snippet where she says that she literally was that 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 Marlo was chasing her around with a shoe, and that wasn't filmed. I'm sorry, y'all. It's so loud, and I'm trying not to be distracted. Forgive me. So there's a lot of the story that we're not seeing. We're seeing a lot of Marlo for sure. We're seeing and so Kenya is blaming it on the editors, which I think is a legit, point. It's a Monday. The semester just started. It's gonna be a long semester. Anyway, I know, and I'm already drinking a glass of wine. It's a sweet red. It's actually pretty good. Okay. Jackie sees Sonia to confirm the pregnancy. She's 5 weeks. Of course, they list it as a geriatric pregnancy. Next episode, we know that she loses her baby, but then we also we know that she is pregnant again. So that's definitely a possibility. There's a deep question about, and Jackie does mention this. She alludes to it about how involved the baby, your youngest son, is in when it comes to this. And I think that this can go either way. It People may feel that it's inappropriate to bring in your other child, but I actually think that that may not be a bad thing because we really like to idolize this idea of pregnancy and kind of shield, especially, I think we shield young people who from the whole inner workings of what pregnancy is like. And I do think that that's a problem. Like, I think it's important that children, be, and I know for me, like, I mean, I was the only child, so I didn't see my anybody around me per se experiencing pregnancy. I mean, I did see other people from a distance, but not in my interpersonal home. So all of these other things, you just didn't get to have that kind of experience. And so I do think that having these conversations is important. One of my good friends when I was in elementary school, she stayed with me for a week when her mom had a baby, and she felt away. And so she didn't last the entire week. Um, so she went home, she was upset that she was not home with her parent, which is understandable. But I think that if we were more open in sharing what these conversations of like having multiple children and pregnancies, then maybe those kind of feelings wouldn't happen as much. So, I mean, yes, it's tragic and yes, it's something difficult, but children bounce back. And I think that him knowing that every pregnancy is not successful and is not a bad thing. Anyway, they're shooting the movie in 10 days and they're using their own stuff, their own bed. They're having like the sex scene. kind of makes a shade about how she's never going to do another movie that's below Lifetime. And it's like, well, so Candy goes online on Twitter and explains like, look, don't be downgrading and I've our production, and I've been on shoots with Lifetime and above, and people are cutting corners all the time, all the time when it comes to production. And so um you have, I mean, Drew, like I said, Drew does have a sex scene in their bed. That does seem kind of strange, but I mean, the sheets are different. And look, you have sex in a hotel room, and how many other people have had sex in the hotel room? Like, are we really counting, um, you know, are we really doing numbers on how many people are doing the do in a hotel room? I'm sure that's even higher than what's happening in Candy's bed. Manana shows Drew and Candy the video of Courtney calling somebody a bitch. And they're not sure who she called a bitch, but the underlying issue is saying Courtney says, I don't call anybody one, and it's like, dude, you do. Um, Everyone seems pleased with how the productions company Magnetta's in it, Drew's in it. I mean, Candy is not necessarily feeling Drew, but she does give her props. She's doing an excellent job. This whole thing with Drew and Ralph is kind of awkward. Ralph is there, and I hate when he air quotes, I'm supporting my wife, quote unquote, lesbian. What is that supposed to mean? She was an actress way before she met you. I mean, she was a singer and an actress. We know her much more from her acting than her singing. And I'm gonna let you know right now, she acted her behind off in that TLC movie. So I don't understand what you mean, quote unquote, lesbian, like she's not an actress. I don't like that. I never liked Ralph anyway. Ralph is so interested in the sex scenes that she has with this woman, and Drew feels very uncomfortable after a while, and it's like, I just want you to go. Sheree, I mean, honestly, their marriage is a joke. Now, I must admit, like, me and my husband are not the most affectionate while we're out in public and whatever, whatever. We don't share these affectionate moments that I see a lot of other couples have. But the way that he is openly disrespectful is just, it's not even joke, ha ha, like to get on your nerve, to get you riled up. It is like straight face, like, did I say something that was disrespectful? Like, he doesn't even see. So I can't, and he seems so active with trying to figure out her interest in women when it's like, and I was listening, okay. I was on what is it? The TGIF. Well, Carlos King was one of the hosts. He was in for Funky Dineva, and they did an alleged, and they're like, "Are we really doing alleged about her being with women, being with the woman?" So clearly, this being with the woman is something that is legit and not an alleged. Okay, so Sheree is doing this whole sip and see party. Now there was a comment here about like how old this baby is. Now, okay, first of all, sip and see to me is an interesting concept. And to me, it's like another way to get a gift. Which I'm not unopposed to, like, especially if you don't necessarily have a baby shower. Like, I didn't have a baby shower for my second child. And the reason why I didn't have a baby shower for him is because I was not in, I wasn't in the happiest of moods. And so I didn't want to be around nobody. And I didn't want to do the baby shower thing. So to me, a sip and see would have probably been a better idea um, for him. So she's planning this event, but I've never heard of a grandmother having a sip and see and with all of her friends and not with any of her kids' friends who's the parents of the child. So this is clearly a, a party for Sheree. Marlo, as she's getting this party together that has no budget, Marlo has this foster event. Sheree didn't seem like she was going to be coming, and Marlo was a little bit upset with this. Sonia and Courtney did attend. Sheree comes at the end, so Marlo was happy with that. I don't know. There's nothing really to say here about this foster event. It's trying to praise people who did have a foster event. Okay. Who praise people who did have some type of relationship, right? With the foster system. So Candy, and making it out and persisting, so fine. Candy and Kenya are getting ready for this sip and see event. Marlo's not coming because she has a funeral. Good. Cynthia does come. I try to catch some of the people who are there. You had Courtney, Candy, Shamia, Manetta, Kenya, Sonia. You had Lisa, Wu. What else? Who else did you have? Oh, you had oh gosh, one of the original Real Housewives. I can't think of her name. Doesn't matter. You had Apollo, you had Miss Quad. Anywho, so Kenya brings up this friend who's not wearing the colors. Now, here's the interesting thing, and she has posted this online talking to, I found it very strange that Kenya has brought this friend around a lot this season, right? Almost everything, but we barely get to know who she is. And this goes back into the line with Kenya's like, look, you really aren't showcasing me. You really aren't including me. You really aren't doing much of anything. And I think that's a legit concern, especially for what she brings to the franchise. Okay. Drew's not coming in because she's like the man assaulted her, which is Anthony, the assistant from what last season or so, who claims that did he have sex with Ralph or maybe somebody that he knew somebody? Ralph was supposedly allegedly having this a man sexual encounter. I don't remember, but I think that's what happened. And so she was thinking that it was God that showed him walking in at the time that she came there and it would have been a trap. Um okay. Yeah. So essentially we get down to the nitty-gritty because Candy's like, okay, so what's Sheree? Drew's not coming in because of Anthony. So then Anthony decides to add his 2 cents, and he is all messy about how this is not how it happened in regards to I didn't just throw a shoe at her. She threw her back, and then I threw my shoe, and I'm because I don't do women like that, and all of this other extra stuff. It's a lot. Um, so even though she claims that she left, she's in the pictures. So she did come in, whatever. Um, okay, so then we have, oh, Sheree claims that she invited Anthony because Anthony is the one who connected her with Martell. So now we have the big reveal because there's a lot of people who've been saying that Carlos is the one who initiated this relationship between Martell and Sheree, when Sheree's now saying that it was Anthony. So this whole season we've been trying to or for a long time, we've been trying to figure out how they ended up getting together, and now we know, if we believe it. Um, Candy makes a joke because Shamia is the one who actually knows Courtney, and Candy's like, well, finally somebody knows Courtney. Sheree is taking a picture with Bob. That was awkward. And Bob tries to touch her. She's like, sure, you could touch me, depending on where you touch me. And then he tries to get too fresh, and she's like, yeah, no. And then she takes a picture of Martell. Martell's matching the colors with her. Candy's like, how in the world are you going to have Martell in the same color with the family? He is the side piece. I was like, Decide to who? Okay, so but I get that. Kenya talks to Martell and she tries to explain that she's gonna always be supportive of Sheree. Martell does apologize to her, and he then asks Kenya if she felt that she was wrong at any point. Kenya's not gonna really concede to her being wrong because she feels that she was defending herself, and which I can understand to some extent why she feels this way. I thought the rolling her out in this carriage was a bit much, especially since the baby was asleep, and the fact that you're going to keep a sleeping baby, you're going to keep waking up a sleeping baby is ridiculous for a picture. I get that. Now everybody's asking about who's the girl with Bob. Now this is the funniest scene I think probably of the whole series because the whole season because Candy and well all the girls are sitting around like who is this chick? And then everybody's trying to ask questions. And she's like, I have been knowing Bob since I was 19 years old. Who in the heck is this chick? Who is this girl? And it's like, your girlfriend or whatever. And he's like, it's my daughter. And they're like, daughter? How old is she? Like, when did this happen? And so then he's trying to do he's trying to pretend like he don't know how old she is and counting on her fingers. Okay. So he's sitting up here counting on her fingers, and they like, well, 3 years younger than my oldest daughter. And she's like, they like, wait a second, hold on, let's do the math. Not Cairo, but so it's older than Cairo. So she's like, and Sheree didn't know who this baby is? And he's like, well, it's on a need to know basis. Now the look that Candy was like, huh? Candy, and they're like, Bob is so disrespectful. The fact that some women are gonna watch this. Combine that with the other scene of him admitting choking her out, and saying that he didn't choke her hard enough. Combine that with the fact that he didn't really pay child support. All of these scenes, there is some woman that is still out there who's gonna be willing to be with this man when he is the epitome of disrespectful. Anyway, come to find out, Sheree even explains on the after show that this child has been around the other kids but wasn't around Sheree. Sheree had no idea this is the first time he met her, and she's pretty cool. And so Kenya says that she typically plays things cool just because. Just because she kind of desensitizes it. So she's been through way too much trauma with this man for her to get her blood pressure up. And that I can understand. With that note, I apologize that my kids can't be quiet. My husband is loud. The TV is loud. I have tried to regulate each and every one of these three individuals, little people behind me. And the only person who is actually listening, well, two little people and one adult. The only one who is actually listening to me is my dog, who is the cutest as can be as a button, who is sitting next to me. No, he's not. But at least he ain't barking. So I apologize. And thank you for watching.